You are very welcome back in the studio. It's full of people all devouring Jack's steak there. But now let's get across to Derek as he is broadcasting live from a very special location. Take it away, Derek.
See what you did there, Tommy. I know Jack served up a delicious steak there in the kitchen just before break, and now we're serving up dessert with some beautiful strawberries. 11 acres here in Sallins in County Kildare. The man behind it all is Gary McCarthy from the family farm. Gary, you're a busy man.
Good morning, Derek. Yes, very busy. Just took a few minutes out to talk to you this morning.
Thanks very much, Gary.
The staff are over picking strawberries over in the tunnels beyond. Hopefully they'll have them ready by about 12 o'clock. We'll chill them down, and then the packing will happen after lunch, and then they're off to the shops for tomorrow morning.
For tomorrow morning, nice and early. Now, you've 11 acres. How many strawberries do you produce on the farm?
Yeah, we have 11 acres. We produce approximately 1 million punnets each year. And I suppose about 10 punnets, or 10 strawberries in each punnet. So that's about 10 million strawberries in total each year.
10 million, wow, that's phenomenal. Now, take us back to the start, of course. The baby plants, where did they come from?
The baby plants come from Holland. The traditional season of a strawberry plant, maybe 30 years ago, was that we'd start picking in June for 6 weeks, whereas nowadays what happens is the plant is grown in Holland, it's put into a freezer and held down at -2 for 6 months.
So it's frozen, why so?
It's frozen to make it a long winter. We planted these plants here in June, the end of June, and the plant thought it was the winter, and when we put it in here in the end of June, then it starts to grow, it starts to produce its flowers, starts to do its berries, but it thinks now that this is springtime.
This is spring, but actually we're into late summer, early autumn. Now, they're planted in coir. What is coir?
Planted in coir. Coir is actually the husk, the outside of the coconut. From Sri Lanka, and it's chopped up real fine. And
so it's the hair of the coconut, basically?
The hair of the coconut,
so they used to be planted in compost, now it's changed to coir?
That's it. It used to be peat, and now it's coir, a more environmentally friendly system.
And the flower, of course, that's where the strawberry comes from?
Flowers is about the most important thing. The thing about the strawberry plant, it's very tough and strong, but as soon as the flower comes on, that's when we have to be careful. That's where it gets delicate.
Now, bees, very, very important,
absolutely.
Aren't they?
The bees, actually, just here, Derek, we have a beehive here.
Okay.
These bees come in from Holland. And every single flower has to be pollinated, has to be visited by the bee. So these bees, they work very hard. As busy as a bee is
it's the saying, right?
True statement, yeah. Because if you look down the road, there's thousands and thousands of berries down there. And in this box...
How many bees do you have there?
We have about 180 or 200 in this box.
OK, and how many in total then?
And in the glass house, the whole acre here, there's probably about three boxes. And they'll pollinate all.
They pollinate all the flowers. But why do you have to bring them in from the Netherlands?
The reason is the traditional honeybee. It's not so important this time of the year, particularly in the spring though. The honeybee needs a warmer temperature, whereas the bumblebee will work at a few degrees lower.
Okay.
And in March, around St. Patrick's Day, is when we get our first flowers, and it's dull sometimes and it's cold, and the bumblebee will work then.
But a big shortage of insects at the moment, big shortage of bees, major problem, isn't it?
Well, bees is an issue around the whole world. We all kind of forget about it, but even the likes of cornfields, they have to be pollinated by insects and bees. Apples as well. Hedgerows, blackberries, all pollinated by bees, which is the food for.
Okay, so without the bees, we're in big trouble. And of course, you have the final product. If you reach up there, and this is what's produced. So how long from growing them in the coir to into the punnets?
This is quite a quick crop because the days were so long. Maybe 6 weeks ago when these were planted, it was bright at 4 a.m. until maybe 10 a.m. So a very, very long day. Whereas in the wintertime, it's obviously shorter. So these were planted, in these plants here beside us, were planted the end of June. And we've been picking this glasshouse here for the last 10 days or so. This is the final crop here. Beautiful.
Okay, beautiful. And what I didn't know, and I suppose what many of our viewers don't know, is that the strawberry is the only fruit that wears or bears its seeds on the outside.
That's correct, yes, yeah. An interesting fact.
An interesting fact. So there you have it, Warren and Tommy. Is it 10 million strawberries produced each and every year?
Yes.
Yeah, there we go. Million. So come here, will you give us a few punnets then back to the lads?
We'll do something now, right?
So you had steak, guys, with strawberries coming your way back to base in a little while.
Million, Derek. 10 million, wow. Can you believe it? That's incredible.
How many?
10.
Wow.
I know, who would have thought? I took the kids strawberry picking in the summer as well. It's a brilliant thing to do with the kids. They love it, and of course they fill themselves full of strawberries too.
And they're happy. They're not eating chocolate, so you're fine.
No, it's great. It's great, and even to see like all the bees and you learn all about that. I mean, it's amazing that they've actually had to import the bees into the country. Yeah, well, depressing as well.
It's really bad that that's something that they've had to do. Like the fact that we're just destroying we're destroying the planet. Anyway.
I'm sure he's
But
like
let's think about happy things.
and...
Those look like delicious strawberries.
Oh, they did. And interest as well, because you think that strawberries are like ripe at a certain time of year, but they trick it. So now they think this is actually spring. Yeah, there you go. Learn something new with Derek every morning.
We certainly do. And Wexford, the rest of Ireland is coming for your strawberries.
County Kildare, who would have thought?
I mean, there we go. They're all coming for the title.
If they dare try to take on manna and mushrooms now, there's going to be trouble.
Never.